What changes do you expect to be made in this bill in the Senate?
Well, one thing I just want to point out is that House leadership, Speaker Johnson, Leader Scalise, Tom Emmer, worked so hard in getting all the various caucuses together, all the various ideas to, really walk this fine line. And I know that President Trump has been in contact with both leadership and with Thune as well, making sure that they understand how sensitive this is. I know there's things that they want in it. I'm hoping that they tread lightly because it was so hard getting this across. As you saw, it was a 1 point win. I mean, we won that. We got that passed by 1 point. And I think if they shake it up too much, it's going to be a problem when it comes back to the House. And some of those, I'm sure you've heard, the SALT caucus. They had some issues that they wanted, and
Yeah.
they got the concessions that they needed. I'm worried about going too far with Medicare or Medicaid. On the
That seems
Medicaid
to
side,
be that seems to be a huge holdup potentially in the Senate. This is not a perfect bill by any means, and there's no such thing as a perfect bill. We do know that. So is there still anything in this bill that you do think needs to be changed or can be changed, moving forward to get it to the place where it passes?
well, I'm hoping that any changes that they do are, structural in nature and not really changing policy by too much, because I don't want the House to come back to the drawing board and have to go through the same machinations they did. There's things that I wish were different. SALT, we gave that concession coming from Montana. I wish it would have been lower or stayed the same. Medicaid, I think the work requirements are great. Medicaid is important to Montana rural healthcare. So making sure that we're threading that needle. So I know they're going to be looking at all of this. I know there's some in the Senate that are going to be looking at the debt ceiling. They're going to try to get more cuts into here. But we need to get a win. And like you mentioned earlier, nothing's perfect. You can't be all things to all people, but you can be the best things to the most people. And I think that this is really a good bill. And I'm hoping that the Senate treads lightly so that we can get this quickly through the House, quickly to President Trump's desk. I know he wants to sign it by July 4th. That's not a lot of time.
That was my next question. Do you think it's going to actually, make it past the Senate? Does it get volleyed back to the House and delay that timeline?
What I'm hearing is there is a lot of energy and a lot of desire to get it through on that timeline. I know this whole timeline has been aggressive, but they said that about the House vote as well. But we pulled that off. I mean, thanks to House leadership and us coming together as a conference. I think that the Senate can do that as well. And I think that the influence of President Trump talking to Senate leadership and talking to the folks that have their different concerns on the Senate side of this bill, I think that brings everything together, and I think that we hit that timeline. It's incredibly important to the American people. This is an incredibly meaningful bill in what it's doing for tax policy, cutting spending, unleashing the American economy, everything that's in this bill, we're excited for, and we need to get this win. This is what President Trump campaigned on. This is his agenda. It's what we campaigned on. It's what we promised our voters. We need to get this win, and we can get changes, in other policy later, but we need to get this on the board before it's too late. I really, I'm hopeful, and I'm feeling pretty strong that we're going to get this.
Well, July 4th is right around the corner, so we'll know soon enough.